And that was long-winded maybe for me, but you know, it's something, as I said, it was something that I wanted to share with you, and that's that. Bishop Morton, I got to give her a shout out this evening. Bishop Morton is my pastor, my bishop, Tabernacle Full Gospel Baptist Cathedral, right here in Wilmington, Delaware. You know, I was at church this morning. It was Communion Sunday, and what a beautiful spirit that was in the air. And as our praise and worship leaders were ushering in the Spirit of God and welcoming the Holy Spirit into the church, I looked at Bishop on the stage, and I could see that she was emotional, and that, you know, her spirit was alive today. And she taught us something. She always teaches us something. And sometimes, you know, I'm a certain age today that I don't well, okay, I'm 48 years old, and messages that Bishop Morton taught me when I was much younger, they still resonate with me today. And at church today, she was calling to our attention the fact that we as Christians, as children of Christ, children of God and brothers and heirs with Christ, we have to be alert to the plans of our enemy, Satan. You know, how he can make certain things just appear so appealing. You know, all of the shiny baubles that he puts in front of us, all of the sweet smells, and just make everything look like it's just as sweet as pie. That is to entice us to separate ourselves from the will of God, you know. And, you know, what she was saying was just so true. And only she can preach it like she preached it, you know. God knows I can't do that. I'm just ad-libbing and just, you know, mimicking or not mimicking, just trying to convey my perception of her message today. How the things of this world, you know, can lead us astray. Everything from being obsessed with power, being covetous of other people's positions, being greedy for money, you know. Some of us are willing to compromise our very souls. And some of us are going to have a hard time because we don't do such a thing. You know, people mistake godly traits such as humility, such as moderate, you know, being moderate in your life, and you know, just not being a person who's of this world. They mistake that as a form of weakness. But that's okay, because that's man's perception. And the rulers of this world want you to believe that their way is the only way, that their way is the right way. They say that if you are not at this level, then you don't count. But that's not true. I'm not a wealthy person, but I believe in God, and I welcome the Holy Spirit into my life. And I know that He is alive in me, and it makes me feel very, very good when I can bless somebody. You know, say for instance, you may be at a store. Now this happened to me today, but just to keep it general, one may be at a store and someone else is in line, and you know they have kids waiting for them out in the car, and they have items on the counter. And then when the cashier tells them how much everything is, they say, oh, well, I don't have enough for that. And they begin putting back things that you know were for the children. Well, I mean, the Jesus in one would probably move you to say, listen, if you have it, if you happen to have it, you can say, listen, I'll you know, pitch in and help you out. You get what you need to get, you know, and pay it forward that way. There were some young people out in the community. They could have been doing any and everything, but they were out in this raw weather today. They were selling coupon books in my neighborhood for their school. you know. And so first I was like, you know, a little bit skeptical, because I mean, it shows up, group of kids showing up and talking about, we got these coupons for sale, $20. First thing I said, oh, like $20, man, you know. But then as I thought about it, I said, look, this is a great learning opportunity for them, and it's an opportunity for them to experience success, you know. And I said, if they can be out here tonight trying to do their thing, let's support that. And so I bought their coupons, and one of the young men, man, he impressed me so much, because as I was filling out the form, you know, one order is $20, and he said, how many you want? I said, man, you all right. You know, that's how I said, look, I'm glad to see you doing that, because you're being assertive. You're learning good business practices. You know, you're learning to maximize opportunities. So I want to give some shouts out real quickly. JoJo, Anthony, and Julian, they were among the group, and I ran into them on my way up to the studio again, and they were like, where you going, to church? And I said, no, I gotta do a TV show on Channel 28. And so I told them to, you know, go home and ask their parents to tune in tonight. So I hope you guys have done that. I hope you got your shout out tonight, and let you know that I'm proud of what you're doing, and keep up the good work. And that goes for all of our children out there in the community, you know. Some are getting accolades, and some don't get accolades. But just because a child does not appear on the front cover of the news journal, or, you know, in some special ceremony, you know, receiving, you know, recognition for outstanding achievement, it doesn't mean that a lot of our young people aren't doing great things. It just means that sometimes they may not be affiliated with different organizations, that's all. And honestly, my experience growing up in Wilmington, Delaware, yes, I'm a Wilmington native, born and raised here. My experience is that I was one of those kids that would be out there on a day like today, you know, where it's raw outside, and you're trying to make some things happen. Had great parents. They worked hard. They supported us. Our parents supported us. But we always have dreams, you know, and my dreams were many. They were varied. And I didn't believe in accepting limitations that other people might try to place on me. And what that did for me was it gave me a chance to come up that rough side of the mountain, you know, that side of the mountain where you have to figure out a lot of things for yourself, you know. I remember back in school where, you know, going to school on the east side at Pyle and at Bancroft, we were really, really fortunate then, because those teachers and my former principal, Mr. Maurice Pritchard, and my other former principal at Pyle, Mr. Major Harrison, they made sure that they paid attention to us as young people. They made sure that they paid attention to us as students. And I just recall so many assemblies where so many of us were recognized at school. And so many of us were offered opportunities because we showed either a talent for or an interest in something. I can remember while I was attending Pyle, my interest was in art, and they made sure that I got a scholarship to the Delaware Art Museum, and a taxi cab would be sent to my school to pick me up and take me to the Delaware Art Museum to study classes, you know, to study art under their scholarship program. And the same thing happened at Bancroft, you know, and this is just my own personal experience. There were others who were afforded extraordinary opportunities as well, but this is my experience. At Bancroft, I excelled in art. And once again, they made sure that I received scholarships to the Delaware Art Museum. And every Saturday I was there taking those classes. And then you had students in the FAME programs and things of that nature. What is different today? What is different today? Are there those same type of opportunities for young people who may be from parents who are not affiliated with any particular social group or things of that nature? Who's getting left behind? Who's getting left out? I'll be straightforward with you. My heart goes out to the city kid. Why? Because that is my experience. And I remember what it felt like. I remember the heartbreak that it felt, that I felt when I would see certain people get certain opportunities, knowing that I myself was qualified. So, you know, we have to confront the reality of different ills in our own community. We can talk about the ills in our country. We can talk about the ills in our state. We can talk about the ills in our city. But what about in our associations? Are we truly giving of ourselves that which we are capable of offering?